and welcome to the RPG Blender, where we give lesser played games or forgotten settings the roll of the dice they deserve. I'm your host, Game Master George, thrilled to welcome you to the next step in our adventure. Our characters have found their way to a dinner party with the mad god Alomarael. Can they survive his cleansing flames? Find out as we venture into the converging worlds of Dungeons and Dragons in Rejects and Dragons, the City Beseiged. Welcome back to the RPG Blender, Rejects and Dragons. Last time, you made your way to Craig Beauchune. You found Calvin in the docks. You made your way into the witch's tower, where she gave you a crystal that will supposedly help you to find other things from other worlds. And then you went to a dinner party. It all looked very nice until Alomarael, the fallen god of good, walked into the party.
So wait, where are we?
You are currently at the Alchemist's Abode.
No, what city are we in?
Oh, you're in the city of Craig Beauchune.
Greatest named city in the world.
I was gonna say,
there we go.
now I know where we are. Okay, thank you.
So, Alomarael has just been introduced. He has walked forward. You can see him in all of his burning glory. What do you do?
What does he look like?
Yeah, I would like a descriptor. I don't know if I've actually ever seen him in person, but I'm positive I've read of him and whatnot.
Yeah,
Heard of him
crying.
Pictures of
Yeah,
him
pretty much.
crying. Okay. So, Alomarael looks like, well, this is probably going to get me in trouble, but he looks like the absolute picture of what the World War II bad guys would have put forward as the ideal.
Oh, so he's like big old blonde-haired, winged.
Yep.
Looks like he looks like you're like a standard like golden celestial.
Pretty much. He's large. He's easily 7 feet tall, rippling muscles under his very tight tunic. Golden hair, the slight golden sheen to his skin, huge wings folded on his back, and a just palpable air of menace about him.
That seems not good.
He wearing a shirt.
He's wearing,
Yeah, he's got a tight tunic.
Barely.
Okay. All right. So his muscles
It
are
basically-
bulging through the
yeah.
tunic.
The tunic looks like it could have been painted on him.
Oh god, that's horrifying. Okay. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
Damon will, as covertly as he can, go, all right, everybody huddle. And bring them in for a second. I've never seen him before in my life, and this situation has just turned quite serious, to say the least. We need to play it cool and just get out of here without making any waves. Make sense?
Yes. I will follow your lead.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
I mean, everything's fine, right?
Yes, everything is definitely fine. And there's like a definitely strained smile on his face as his eyes keep darting towards where Alomarael is, and back to you guys.
Is everyone else like bowing and stuff?
No. There are maybe 25% of the people in the room inclining their heads. Roughly half are just kind of looking in that direction with not a terribly pleased expression on their face, but also not outright hostility. There are a few more in that last 25% that have looks of abject fear and terror on their faces, and there are a few that are staring with hatred and venom in their eyes.
So this is not a place where he is popular, to say the least.
No, his armies don't have reach here normally.
But he is here, and he is super uber powerful.
Mm-hmm. And
God.
At that point, Damon, you have seen someone hand him a glass of liquid. He then takes his finger and clicks it up against it, making that nice little ringing glass noise throughout the room. And he begins to speak. Citizens of Craig Beauchune, your long suffering in the dark ends tonight. In the midst of the recent calamity, your princes have seen that we must stand united to protect our world. Come the morning, you will be welcomed into the fold, a part of the Holy Alliance. Together we will stride forward, bringing my light to the heathens invading our world. We will stand against the corruption and claim the Nexus for Namora. Then may the light shine to these broken worlds. May the wretched creatures hiding in the shadows burn in my holy fire. And those few who have not chosen to accept the twisted teachings of evil may join our side. Celebrate, my children, for tonight we unite Namora. Tomorrow we march for the Nexus. Scattered cheers rise from the assembled guests. A few who had the more neutral expressions do join into it a little trepidly.
Yeah, Aberian's going to kind of look around and mirror the people neighboring him. That seems like the best way to blend in. So he's going to do that.
I'm actually looking specifically for people who aren't cheering, and I'm kind of just trying to mentally take note of them.
Of note, the prince who was announced as the Oracle is not cheering. However, the monk and the alchemist are. At which point, Alomarael hands the glass to somebody, does not take any kind of sip, and then he and the alchemist turn and leave the room.
Oh,
Servants then emerge and direct those gathered to take a seat.
Oh,
I'm just not. I feel like we should. I'm not hungry.
This is a trap. I think it would be wise to leave. If he has
Right.
many enemies here, he could eliminate them all with one fell swoop. This dinner party seems more like a trap than anything else.
yes, however, causing suspicion or doing something out of the ordinary would also alert them. Looking towards the door, are there
Mhm.
like guards? Is there like sort of like a cumbersome way to get out of here?
There are servants stationed at the door. You can give me a perception check.
Okay.
I will aid.
A 12.
Okay. With a 12, you can see that the servants that are stationed at the door are larger individuals than the ones that are serving people. In fact, give me a knowledge nature check,
Sure.
which cannot be assisted because this is, what he knows
Yeah, whatever.
or does not know. Yeah. Okay.
Rolled a 7 for an 11.
Okay.
Nice.
They are very large. They are not as large as Alomarael, but they are still the upper bounds of what you would expect humans to be.
Yeah, I think us trying to leave might not be the greatest course of action right now. Let's keep our eyes on the door to see if anything changes there, but in the meantime, just try to blend in with the party. There's enough people here that we can sort of play along with this dinner party.
Where's that Oracle guy sitting?
The Oracle and the Monk are each seated at their own private tables. As people are beginning to make their way to their own table, the longer one to dine, there are people floating in and out, conversing with them.
Should we go talk to that guy? I'd say pointing at the Oracle.
Yes, that probably is a good idea. Someone not as copacetic with the recent changes in Craig Boshun, greatest named city in the world.
Also, I want to know what the Nexus is.
The necklace.
Nexus.
Oh, Nexus. Yes.
I have an idea.
Yes, it could be possible Alomarael is actually aware of the storm.
I think you are correct. And it seems that he wants to conquer other worlds.
That is a problem. But let's start with the Oracle, shall we?
Agreed. I will follow you.
And I will make my way through, Damon being well used to the upper side of society via his lineage, as his grandfather and his father both were supposed people of noted presence and position, is able to sort of navigate through easily enough via my position of privilege feature.
Okay. You make your way through the crowd. Are you attempting to do anything in particular with that feature, or just...
Well, as I understand, I'm welcome in high society, as I and people look
Yeah.
to me believing I have a place there. So Damon will just pretty much lead as though he is certainly an equivalent noble of notable presence, not trying to be like too out there, but enough that he can walk with enough confidence and have Aberion and Levi following behind him that he looks like he's naturally navigating the party, not causing any waves, and trying to approach the Oracle in the same way that he's seeing other people.
Okay. It's easy enough. Yes, the people heard you announced as Ailment Breaker. Being well familiar in high society with the title, they defer to you, if not actually a gesture of subservience. They are at least granting you respect as you walk through. Are you pushing to the front, or are you waiting for an opening to talk to the Oracle?
I'll wait for an opening.
Okay. In which case you see a number of people walking through, talking to the Oracle. Give me an intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
Saving throw.
Everybody or just him?
That doesn't bode well.
Well, I rolled a
Anybody
10
who wants
for
to can.
16.
Saving throw?
I mean,
Is it like looking at him
Throw.
casting a spell on us? I'm scared. Yeah, I'll try. I'm probably gonna fail though.
Mhm.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yep, that's 8 for a 9. That
Oh, baby.
was a good roll.
Okay. Levi,
Mhm.
one of the people approaching the Oracle has an unusual look to them, and as you are watching, you can see it doesn't appear quite right. There's probably some kind of illusion around them, and as that enters your head, you can start to see through it. You don't recognize the person, unfortunately, but you can see that at least one person has taken pains to mask their appearance.
And that's a person who's starting to approach the Oracle?
You actually see this when they are walking away from the Oracle, having just spoken to her.
I very quietly, and enough that way Aberion can hear, because I'm not trying to leave him out, but just assuming he's not going to know as much, but largely to Damon, I'm like, that person, and then I described just something on them. I was like, is masked an illusion. They're not who they're trying to appear to be.
And I'm going to just focus in on that person real quick and see if I can see through it.
Okay, you can attempt it again. You're looking for an 18.
Oh, come on. Roll the 5.
Oh boy.
Now I'm going to roll deception to try and convince Levi that I actually can see it. Well, rolled a 7 for an 11, so. Yes, I see exactly what you're talking about. I
Wow.
do not.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 12 to his 11, so I'm just kind of like, okay, like it's fine. It's not super important, but
You're like, whatever.
largely I want to know that the Oracle knows.
You want to know that the Oracle knows.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as that person walks away, your chance to approach is at hand.
And
The person,
we approach.
do they have anything particular on them? Do they have any weapons? Do they look human? Can you give me just a small description of them?
Sure. The Oracle?
No.
Okay. The person, he is tall, somewhat lanky of build, long white hair flowing behind them. They're wearing robes of some kind. It's a little hard to make out these specific details seen through the illusion, but you have at least enough sight to know if you saw them again, you would probably recognize them. As you are getting your impression, you can see that it looks almost like an elf. Oh, no, you wouldn't know what an elf. It looks a little bit like a Baryon.
I've seen a Baron and I've seen one of the other ones, so I have two
Yes.
elves.
So it looks similar enough to that it could be an offshoot, but it doesn't look identical.
Gotcha. Maybe not from here. Okay.
The Oracle, on the other hand, just to give you the reminder, is a stunningly beautiful woman, raven hair tied back in a tight bun. When she was walking, she was almost floating above the ground, and perhaps most notably are the mess of scars where her eyes used to be.
And she was floating?
It was hard to tell if she actually was because of the length of the dress. However, the way that she was moving, it gave the impression of floating.
So either she's very graceful or she's just magically inclined.
And we approach her.
All right, you approach her. She is seated by herself at a fairly sizable table. It's large enough that she could probably fit another 4 people there with her comfortably and still having room. Behind her, against the wall, you do see 2 guard-like people. They are not carrying obvious weapons, however.
Hmm.
It's good. Maybe she knew there wasn't going to be a fight. So we're fine.
Okay. Formally
Mhm.
approaching, Damon will give a courtly bow to the Oracle. Good evening, Oracle.
Good evening, Ailment Breaker.
A pleasure to see you among your fellow princes at quite a prestigious occasion.
And a pleasure to see you as well.
Yes, and my associates as well. This is Aberion and Levi.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Aberion and Levi, it is a pleasure to make all of your acquaintances. Is there something that I can assist you with?
Well, my associate here, and I motion to Levi, noticed something we wanted to bring to your attention. Just was good faith and good service to you in Craig Boshun, greatest named city in the world. Take it away, Levi.
Oh, yeah. Hi. I'll step forward and wave, and then realize the ridiculousness of waving to a blind person. So I just kind of quickly put my hand down.
As you do, she then gives you a small acknowledgement.
Oh, all right, great. I imagine that you knew, but in the off chance you didn't, the person who you were talking to previously wasn't what they seemed.
I appreciate you letting me know. It was, however, an old friend whose safety would be at risk if certain parties were to know that he was here.
Okay.
I see the current changes in the climate here. Some are less than pleased about, and reasonably so.
Craig Boshun has stood on its own for quite some time, but the world has changed in the past few years. I can see the appeal of such an alliance to my fellow princes. At which point, Damon, you hear in your mind a voice. If you wish to know more, please let us retire to a private room, Damon Alabaster Lucius III.
Damon will just stare at her for a moment and then give a quick nod.
I hope. I find this moment a good one for an adjournment. I could use some privacy, I believe. Would you be so kind as to accompany me, you 3?
Of course. An escort would be our pleasure for you, Oracle.
It'd be rude to refuse.
We will accompany you.
Thank you. At which point she rises and gives a gesture to the guards behind her, who nod and take flanking positions to follow. And she leads out one of the back doors, not the way that you came in.
Cool. We follow.
Yeah. Let's
This is gonna get good.
let's escape the red dinner party.
She leads you out the back and down a hallway, passing a few doors before she eventually stops at one and pushes it open. Inside, it is a small sitting room. There are some bookshelves on the sides, a desk toward the back, and just a few scattered seats throughout. She makes her way in, and her guards take up positions on either side of the door.
Oracle?
Will you be joining me?
Yes, of course. The alchemist will not mind us using his dwellings.
Of course not. We all have rooms in our places that are designed for visiting princes to be able to have their own meetings when necessary. This is mine.
That's a good idea. Yes, if you don't mind, we'll have a seat.
She makes her way to the desk and has a seat behind it.
Damon sits at one of the chairs.
Yeah, same. I'll break out the old notebook.
And Aberion?
Yeah, I will take a seat.
Okay. As you all enter the room and take a seat, the door shuts behind you. As it does, you can feel a slight tingle rush over you, and there's almost a visible haze to the air for a moment. There. Our discussions should now be private.
Perfect.
I believe you have some questions for me.
Yes. First and foremost, Greg Boshun, greatest named city in the world, falling under Alomarael? Am I going crazy?
The disappearance of the witch unfortunately left us unbalanced. Those of us who remember that what our place in this world should be were able to hold out for a time, but unfortunately, with Barriscan switching sides, they now had the majority they needed in order to allow this alliance.
That's most concerning. The neutrality of Craig Boshun, greatest named city in the world, is paramount in such a dire place. Alomarael seeks to only cause more true chaos under his light, and the Nexus is going to be a dangerous place. Not to say Alomarael can't make an impact. I'm sure he can, but at what cost?
You're correct, of course. This is a greatly dangerous time you have found yourself back in this city.
Just yesterday. How, when you say that now there was a majority to side with Amariel, by how much?
It is 3-2.
So you are saying if there was a return of one of the ruling parties, then the balance would be restored?
If the witch were to reappear, she has always been a staunch opponent of Alomarael. If she were to reappear, we would have a deadlock. However, it would need to happen before the signing of the treaty this evening. That is, of course, the cause for this party. Alternatively, if one of the three could be convinced to change their vote, or if, well, heaven help us, if something were to happen to one of the three, we would again find ourselves deadlocked.
Oracle, what if I were to tell you we have a potential lead on where the witch lies?
Then I would say it would be best if she were here.
Yes, that's, complicated. The Nexus has its own effects on many, and I believe the witch has also been affected.
She could provide some sort of pledge that she would return, or if she could vote in absentee, would that work instead?
Unfortunately not. The proceedings must be attended in person. And even if she were to elect a representative, she would have to appear in order to make that announcement. No one would take the word of someone appearing and claiming to have her blessing.
Sensible.
I see. So, it seems, in order to maintain Greg Boshun, greatest named city in the world's autonomous function to Alomarael and his lofty ambitions, which they are lofty, if I do say so myself. Not even he knows what's going on in that nexus. We need to either return the witch, find a way in which she can speak as giving a temporary position to somebody in her stead, or convince somebody else to turn the tide and make the deadlock happen once more in Greg Boshun.
That is the best outcome. Failing that, if word could be sent to those protectors of the Nexus, they might be able to at least be prepared for this movement. But I do not know how long they would be able to stand against the forces of Alomarael.
Yes.
I imagine.
Hopefully, the path of non-confrontation would be the quickest and easiest for all parties involved.
Of course, but I do not see how that could be accomplished.
If we were to try to get through to one of your fellow princes, which one do you think would have the least resistance to changing their mind?
Barriscan was the one who turned the tide in the first place. I would think he would be the one most easily convinced. However, I would not have expected him to turn at all. So whatever argument persuaded him must have been very strong indeed.
So the monk was the one to make the change.
Yes.
Interesting.
You will just have to be more persuasive. You can speak from the experiences that we have. I'm sure that will be enough.
Right.
What are the
Yeah.
other two?
The other two? The druid.
Curious.
Yes, and the mage has remained opposed to Alomarael.
Not see this druid at the party. They were not announced, at least to my knowledge. Who are they
No.
and where are they?
He is rarely present in the city. He basically only attends for official business. I expect he's already left the city out to his wilderness abode.
Am I mistaken, or did the mage not make a presence known here this evening?
That is correct, though unsurprising. He and the alchemist have never seen eye to eye.
Interesting. Well, seems we have a few options ahead of us, but you said the signing is taking place this evening.
That is correct. Alomarael and Dirk.
So the druid
They
will be
retired.
arriving.
No, Dirk
If the
was,
druid was not able to make
Hmm?
it, just as the witch is not able to make it, would the signing be postponed as you are still deadlocked?
She shakes her head. The vote already occurred. This is simply the official signing. Dirk
But
was
then-
named the representative, and he will be the one to officially sign the treaty with Alomarael.
So we
However,
only have a few hours. Oh, sorry,
if one of
please.
them, if one of the three were to change their vote and make it known publicly before the treaty is signed, we would be able to invalidate the previous decision.
Hmm.
Once it is signed, however, Alomarael will gain great power here.
Hmm.
As you know, he is a creature of law, and he is bound to them. As the law does not serve him here, he is diminished.
I am scared to see what he is like when he is not diminished.
So
Very well.
Craig Bushun's greatest strength is its economic presence, from what I've been told, yes?
That is true.
So beyond just pure military might, he then gains.
Yes, it is not our military might that he is here for. It is the resources we carry, the trade, and of course our positioning here, where we are able to enter this crossroads and access the other worlds.
What does the alchemist want? Like, in a general fashion. Is he interested in money, power?
She shakes her head. I have never been able to figure that man out. His father was far easier to judge. Power was all that mattered to him. His son, however, is more of a mystery. Honestly, most of the time it seems he just uses it for petty shows. But
There is a saying where I am from that the sand crab does not stray far from the nest. I have a feeling the son will have similar interests as the father.
she nods. It is sage advice where you are from.
Very well. We have some courses we need to make a choice on. And Damon will turn to the other two and he goes, Gentlemen, I believe we should try and make the biggest splash we can. I believe we should bring the witch back.
I don't disagree, but we'd have to move quickly, and we would need a mind-numbing poison.
We already said that we would be aiming to free her, but that seemed like something that we would not be able to do for some time. We already had this conversation, did we not?
Well, that's not entirely certain. We have some work we need to do, and to make sure our home is properly updated.
Where is the witch?
That is a fantastic question. The answer is currently fighting her own battle and unable to make herself return.
And do you see that changing in the next hour?
Oh, that's how long?
Yes, I do not think we have the time to do this. We have to convince this monk to return to his original position. Whatever leverage that this Alomarael holds over him, or whatever he was convinced to do. We must unconvince him. We have seen firsthand the danger that this has wrought. We must use our words.
Oh, wait, hold on. And I'll turn to Levi. Do you still have the toad on you?
The what?
The toad.
I'm like, yeah, of course I do.
Pull that bad boy out.
You think this could stand in as a symbol that she has made him a representative?
No. But when we did our thing, it croaked, and then
The witch said it took the last ounces of her power in order to show herself to us. I do not think that asking her to use the last vestige of her strength in order to appear just to postpone this Alomarael, it might not be enough.
what I'm saying is, if she can agree to do that and at least give a different representative, then we're gonna stall long enough that we can actually get her freed.
That is true. Would that work? Would they accept an astral projection? And I look to the oracle.
If it could be proven that it is indeed her and not an illusion from you.
How would we go about proving this? You ask her questions, or is there something that she could give?
I don't know. It would be put to the question by the other princes, and more than likely Alomarael himself.
Well, as it stands in direct opposition to their goals, I have a feeling no matter how convincing this witch is, she might not be enough for them. I think we should try and convince the monk, and that is where I lie in this matter. But I will leave it to you two. If you think this is our best course of action, we shall go with it, but we have very little time left.
I agree, but we do have an hour, and an hour to talk to the monk. We can do both. We can try talking to the monk, and then if that doesn't pan out, we can then try and summon forth the witch. Because if we convince the monk, it doesn't put us in direct opposition to Alomarael. If we summon forth the witch, whether that works or not, it puts us directly in their path.
Agreed. But desperate times, desperate measures. But I agree.
Yeah.
Let's go for the monk.
Perfect.
Very well. Do you have any questions for me before you begin this path?
What's the monk like?
He is an honorable man. He has never taken part in the petty squabbles of the court. He has always done what he felt was right. It is concerning that he made this change.
Maybe he has genuine concern of the other worlds.
Or maybe there is something holding over his head. He may not be making this decision of his own volition.
In which
It is
case, he might just
possible.
need a little bit of friendly support.
Is there anything else I can answer for you? Any other questions you might have?
Is there some boon or something you could give to us to help us with this task? I know you do not want Alomarael to take over the control of the city.
I cannot take direct action here. The will of the princes must appear united to the world. I can assist you with information, any questions you might have, but to do more than that would be to violate the oaths I have made.
Of course, we would not ask you to do so.
Mhm.
Has there been any more information gleaned concerning this nexus?
What do you know of the Nexus?
Well, we certainly know that the world has changed dramatically because of it. For instance, the temperature around here is just not what I remember from Craig Boshun, greatest named city in the world.
Yes, the location of Craig Boshun is now of two places. You can still access Craig Boshun as you would in our own world, but once here, you find yourself trapped in this new world. Travel from here to Namora itself is difficult. However, we have managed to find some methods of at least transporting goods to maintain our trade, but it now exists in this new realm, and this new climate is a direct result of its new positioning in this world.
Have you made contact with other places besides the realm of Namora?
We have. When this first occurred, there were refugees from other worlds. The people were scattered. There were some that came here from other worlds. They were not all pleasant places. And unfortunately, we had some direct confrontation with at least one which sought to raise an army and conquer the other worlds. That is what prompted this whole event, what prompted the other princes to seek the assistance of Alomarael to provide us with protection. But, of course, now, as you have heard, protection is not his goal, it is more to conquer.
So if we could convince these other princes that we can seal the Nexus, or at least prevent any other invasions from coming in, then they would have nothing to fear, and they would have no reason to turn to Alomarael for protection.
That I would believe of the monk or the druid. The alchemist, I suspect, has other motives, though I do not know what they are.
No, he is a lost cause. He only cares for power. We should focus our efforts on the monk who is here.
What?
Damon, do you need anything else? Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. What armies did you face? What creatures?
They were strange creatures. You are familiar with the Dragonborn, yes?
Yes. Because I was just told what they are, so that's not even a lie. Damon pulled
Oh.
Yes. They were akin to them, but they carried strange mutations. They did not... They almost appeared to have been artificially created from other beings.
Oh.
They wielded,
as you say
they
this,
wielded magics.
Aberion's face turns down.
They wielded magics that destroyed the land around it. It was horrific.
I know of what you speak. It
I
is
think
not
we all do, actually.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I described the creature that we fought in front of the tower.
Yes, that sounds like it.
Yes, it seems each of these worlds have their own troubles, whether it's tyrants of the light or magic-crazed lizard people.
Maybe some are perfectly fine, though.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Is there anything else I can answer for you?
Is the Nexus the meeting spot between all of those places?
The Nexus is... It is a location where the majority of those who came to this place appeared. A city was set up, and it was quite a thriving place. For some time, trade was great between the worlds. Then those creatures attacked. They wiped out the settlement completely and attempted to use the access points in order to invade the other worlds. In order to stop it, we destroyed our own. We now have no direct connection from our city to the Nexus, which means that Alomarael must use one from another world.
Correct me if I am wrong, but if you don't have a access point, can the other worlds not come here unless there is an alternative way?
They could simply travel over the land or through the underground. In the center of this world, as you may know, there is a raised plateau, a land of sand there, but underneath it, tunnels, endless tunnels which connect the various worlds. One could lead a force through there and invade any number of places.
I see. Thank you for this information.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
And I just shake my head now.
Aberion nods that he's done.
And I believe we need to make haste to speak with the monk.
Agreed.
Very well. Lead the way, Damon.
Very well. And I get up. Thank you, Oracle, for your help and your information. It's been invaluable.
Of course, I hope that you are able to stop this. I have had visions of what might happen if you do not, and this will not go the way Alomarael hopes.
Even I could see that coming. But don't worry. Either way, we'll make a splash.
Very well. Then I wish you luck. And she gestures with her hand, and the door opens. You feel another movement in the air as the magic retreats, and you're able to leave.
Damon gives a courteous bow and then walks out the door.
Aberion will follow him.
I do the same thing, but I actually take out one of my iridescent seeds and I put it on the desk in front of her. And I go, it's not much, and I know we want the same thing, but thank you.
What is it?
One of the iridescent seeds from the iridescent plant that I collected from my prologue.
Oh. Okay, sure. Okay, the random plant.
Inventory
Gotcha.
management.
Oh, that thing. Right. The seed. Oh, yeah, sure. She loves it.
Yep. She looks at the seed. She moves her hand over it. It begins to rise underneath it, and before your eyes, as you watch, you can see roots begin to grow from beneath, and the plant itself begin to grow up toward her hand. She then moves it over to a cup on the side, which you can see begins to fill with dirt from the bottom, and then she plants it into the cup. Thank you, Levi.
Wow. And then I leave, but I write in my notebook while I'm walking down the hallway trying to catch up. Because everyone's doing all kinds of crazy magic that I've never seen. There are no crystals here.
She can't see the colors on the plant, though, right? Because she's blind. She just knows it's a plant.
You can see. I waved and she waved back. So
Yeah. To assume she's blind is probably not safe. But okay,
Very well.
we start making our way back into the party, and Damon will swivel his head around, just trying to ID the monk in the crowd.
Okay. You can see that the monk is still seated at his table. There are less people approaching him than were approaching the oracle, and you can see that they have entered the second course of the meal.
Okay, second course of the meal. You don't have that much time before the party concludes. It'll be a little impolite to interrupt his meal, but, I mean, we have to do what we have to do, right?
she said he cares about what's right, so I don't think.
Unless he's all about the law of the dinner party. If you interrupt his meal, it's like the biggest insult of all.
I'm just going to start walking over now. I'm like, well, only one way to find out.
Not even humoring it, and I follow.
All right, you approach. He is, to remind you, a massively muscled man, shaven head and bearded face of brown beard. His outfit is nice. It is a nicely pressed suit of a black color. However, it has begun to stretch at the seams. You can actually see a little bit of skin where the seams have pulled a little bit too far. And he has already finished the majority of the food in front of him.
Is there a line, or can we just
There is no
approach?
line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk up right to the thing, unless Damon asserts himself in front of me, in which case I'll gladly allow him.
He's just following behind.
All right, then yeah, I walk up. Excuse me, sir.
He looks up from his food, looks at you, looks you up and down. What can I do for you?
I wanted to know if I could have some of your time.
He looks around at the party.
Yeah, at this point,
These
Damon
events
will walk up next
are
to him.
nothing but time. What do you need?
I wanted to know if I could speak with you about what's happening and kind of get your view, why you're choosing to move forward in this way.
He gets a somewhat flat look on his face when you say that. I do what is necessary to protect my people, to protect this place.
Of that, I have no doubt. I've been told similarly about you. But why do you believe that this is the correct course of action? Not as so much as to question your wisdom, but more of to understand.
Did you see what happened during the battle? Have you seen what these other worlds are capable of?
I saw of the ones a great deal of corruption, and corruption tends to, like anything, like a blight or a rot, not be easily contained, especially when removed from its initial place. Of course, so introducing yourself to the rot could also have similar effects.
Then perhaps I am already corrupted, because I will not see my city fall to those abominations.
I don't think a desire to aid your city makes you corrupted. I think that everyone wants to be safe and will take precautions in order to be safe. I think you've managed your safety, I should say, alone previously. Have you not?
We have.
And were there any forces here last you fought?
Here, now,
But you prevailed.
we prevailed by fleeing, by cutting off an avenue of approach, so they could not follow.
A wall
We
is
didn't win. We ran. We hid.
At this point, Damon will more formally approach their conversation.
Pardon me, monk, but does it sound like you'll have an opportunity to run should Craig Boshun, greatest named city in the world, decide to follow Alomarael into the Nexus?
Craig Boshun has already decided to do so. But this
And-
time, we will have his forces with us.
You saw the dangers that the Nexus holds, and, might I say, most wisely decided to retreat, going in and stirring that which we do not understand, in my opinion, is a risky investment.
I nod quite forcefully. To Ailment Breaker's point, it would serve, you've intelligently served your city for a long time. You have weighed the good and the bad in order to keep it protected from the outside. And when I mean the outside, I mean the outside barring or limiting the Nexus. Because you knew the threat, you knew the risk that Alomarael posed. But in this case, as my companion has brought up, you don't know yet. So it is not even necessarily that that we would suggest never taking this course of action, but perhaps it would be wiser to take this course of action when you are certain that it is the right one, after there's been time to gather the information. You have managed to build a wall, not what I would say hide, but a defense from this other place. Why not take advantage of that defense rather than surging through it and hoping for the best?
Because... do you have experience in war, son?
I've studied many war books, but I know that those who charge blindly into or past a wall, or when one colony of termites meets another and decides they're going to blindly attack, that it is often not the best course of action. It's what separates good tacticians from bad ones, is the knowledge that they have.
How does a sieged city win?
How does a sieged city win? A sieged city
You
win.
outlast them. You use your defenses to your advantage. Where I come
Yes.
from, there are many cities, and each of them has very high walls. None of them have ever fallen, because those that attack from the outside cannot penetrate it.
You wait for
For
them.
every man that you fight from within, they are worth 100 men on the outside. But once you charge and abandon your defenses, you have nothing. You are on an even playing field, or even less, because you don't know where you are fighting from.
And now tell me, how does a sieged city lose?
By giving up your only defenses, by charging blindly, like my friend is saying.
Or starvation, to be fair.
But this is Craig Boshun, greatest city in the world. It has all the resources it needs.
We had all the resources we need. We had that 10 years ago when this started. Now we are besieged from these other worlds, and we are besieged by Alomarael. We cannot resupply except what he allows through.
What if you could?
How?
What if
Perhaps there are other routes besides what Alomarael allows.
He is bound by your laws as long as he is here, correct?
Yes.
Then you need to have some form of law that makes it so that the people in your city get the food and supplies that they need. And this is a term for him. And if he cannot allow it, then he must give way.
he is probably
Then he-
off.
He is.
But what we are offering is you to retain your individuality, to retain the both wisdom and, I would imagine, fluidity that the council has had in order to make your city the thriving last city of its kind here. and perhaps you can still leverage your economic power and continue to thrive through other means. How many other worlds have you interacted with?
That we know of. 5.
And all hostile?
No. No, they did not start hostile. We were able to find willing trade partners, but there are always those people who would undermine it, who would seek to use it for conquer rather than trade.
Such as human nature, but that is why might, both monetarily and military, does exist. But
Yeah.
And I wouldn't deny that. But if we could find a way to resupply you regularly, would that lend you more time, at least?
It would, if it were possible.
I believe it is.
Do you have some evidence of this?
You seem to be a man of your word. If we were to show you, and only you, the evidence of this, would you consider postponing the treaty indefinitely, or as long as you felt that your needs could be suited through such a method?
He considers. He looks at each of you. If such were possible, and it would be able to supply us with what we needed, I would consider it, yes.
We would need your word. But the information that we give to you stays with you.
Of course.
I'm sure a prince of such a city could understand why only him having the information is vital.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sure every prince here understands knowledge is ultimately the most essential weapon to any war.
Of course.
Then I would say, if there's a way for us to,
Damon says, looking around at the party,
make a bit of a unnoticed move out of the party, we'd be happy to give you proof of our suggestion on how to alleviate yourself from the pressures of Alomarael.
He stands up. He walks to the exit with the 2 large guards. He growls, "We're leaving. We'll be back." And then he walks out the door.
I follow very hurriedly behind him.
yep, Damon follows too, just to stop and give a cursed nod to each of the servants at the doors, and then continues.
Give me a perception
Brusquely.
check.
A deception check?
Perception.
Oh, perception. Uh-oh. Word, rolled a 5 for a 6.
7 for 10. Nerds. All right, come on, you can do it.
Please, Aberion.
You're literally our only hope.
Please, Aberion.
And then that's a 9 for an 11.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
6,
above
10, and 11. Okay. They pay you no mind as you leave.
And we're all completely unaware that we all need glasses.
All right. And you make your way out of the party. The monk is waiting outside for you.
Meeting up with the monk.
He seems, when you reach him, he seems far more at ease outside of that place.
Understandably.
Maybe he needs a lot of room to kick our asses.
Oh God, please no.
Yes, he rolls his neck, he cracks his knuckles, and then you roll initiative. No.
A little stuffy in there, huh?
Cannot stand that little fops parties.
Rightfully so. Certainly a performance, to say the least.
We should probably hurry.
Yes,
gonna get-
time is of the essence. If you would please follow us, Monk Farngray.
He follows.
And we'll bring him to our secret portal.
Actually, but before we get there, I am trying to make sure we're not being tailed or anything. Because intelligently, I'm like, this place seems really weird and, court secretly.
You can give me another perception check.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Oh, natural 20 this time.
There we
23.
go.
Okay. I will let you know if you notice anything.
Thank you. As we're walking, so I notice a lot of people don't notice when people or things are out of the ordinary. Do you notice?
Yes.
So you already know.
I am aware that you are not from here. Yes.
And I just kind of smile and nod. Continue on.
Pardon me, but how did you know? I mean, he doesn't particularly look out of the ordinary. He's got common clothes on. He looks downright mundane.
Something writhing under his coat.
Oh, you were moving, weren't you? And I let Ivy come out of my sleeve and I just pet it.
I told you to keep that thing close.
Could you tell that I was not from this place?
You are more hardened than any elf I've seen. And I believe you never did anything with your bone spear, right?
It's on underneath the new kicks that Damon bought for me, but yeah, it's still a bone spear. It's sticking
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
And that kind of weapon is not one we would usually welcome in this city.
Got a problem with bones?
Is a
Mhm.
problem with those that usually wield it.
Yes.
I know the horrors of which you speak. They are no friends of mine. Of that you can be sure.
I suppose we will see if that's true. It is probably worth noting that he had no guards.
Yeah, I didn't think he needed
Need no guards.
He's like a solid foot taller than Damon. I mean,
Yeah.
guy's big.
Not as big as Alomarael, but he was easily eye to eye with two large guards. Levi, you notice behind you, not exactly following you, but you do see out of the corner of your eye that person who was disguised turn down an alley.
Hey, it's that illusion guy.
Uh-oh.
I say like out loud to like no one but everyone.
What is it you saw, Levi?
The guy.
Were they
Uh,
following us?
Well, I saw him here. It doesn't mean he was following us. I just saw them.
Well, if they aren't following us, there's nothing we can do about it. Time is of the essence right now.
You're not wrong. I'll
You walking, and I will see if he follows any further.
And with
Yes.
that, Abaran will slip off into the shadows and try hiding, and then just sort of stealthily wait around to see if this guy's following.
Okay. What is your stealth?
All right, so yeah, 16.
Okay.
Does
I'll
advantage
let
give
you know.
anything? Because I have the boots.
Not until you actually need to roll it.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
I will let you know.
Cool.
Okay.
And we keep going to the hideout.
All right. You eventually make it to the hideout. It is not a terribly far walk. It was maybe 7 minutes.
Right this way, please.
I'll open up the shoddy looking door into the decrepit building.
Okay, you do so. It is indeed shoddy and decrepit looking.
Oh, yeah, just close the door behind us and
Okay. He looks
Um,
around. This does not fill me with hope.
That's sort of the hope, actually. Follow me.
And I will bring him to where the storeroom is.
He follows. When he sees the storeroom with the portal, a curious look appears on his face. I suppose your hope is to use that portal?
Yes,
Yeah.
Well, then I hope you have a good destination in mind.
I have one planned.
And I set it up and click.
Okay. It hums to life.
Follow us.
And I step into the portal.
He waits, eyeing the other one.
yeah, just me. Oh,
Okay.
do you want me to go in too?
I'm not going in with an unknown at my back.
Well, I am flattered that you think I'm capable of doing anything to you. And I like walk in and I just like put my hand through the portal to kind of like show him that like it's fine, and I take it out and then I walk through.
All right. After you go through, he follows. And he steps out into the very arcane, sacrificey looking room with the big
Oh,
sigil
man.
on the ground.
we gotta redecorate that. Oh boy.
Got some carpets and shit. I do look down and I say, mind the mess. We haven't had much time to redecorate yet.
But we have plans of getting cleaners in here.
Mhm.
But
I see.
welcome to the Tower of Verathul.
And where is this?
In my world,
Which world is yours?
the place with the crystals. Do you know where that is?
We had some trade with them, yes.
Well, you could have trade again. You could even have trade under the guise of not being you if that trade went sour.
And on top of that, with our ability to utilize our portal, we can give you a different means of transportation. We are in the process of figuring out exactly where each of our portals and the planning mechanisms lead. But as we can establish more, we can offer a means of bringing different commerce to you.
And beyond that, to your concerns of your safety, not just your continued survival, we can also provide you with insight into these other worlds and what dangers that they may pose to you, both long and short term.
What locations can you connect to now that will assist us with the imminent crisis?
The imminent crisis, as said, we can currently go to one of my world cities, which would gain us access to commerce, trade, and just the standard things that come with that. So we could resupply you fairly freely through that method.
As far as further discoveries, we are still working through that. But what I'm giving you here is an opportunity to not have to bend the knee, as Craig Boshun, greatest named city in the world, has not done to Alomarael. And your neutrality has played a very important part in Namura. I don't think I have to spell that out to you, but I think it is dire that things maintain as the princes have.
And I'll say, and at worst, it gives you more time, gives you more breathing room.
Indeed. Should things have to change, I expect you'll do exactly what you need to. But I am giving you an opportunity to decide versus being forced.
He takes in your words, and he seems to be considering them. And now it's time for your favorite part, that persuasion check.
No, no.
Oh God! You get it.
Words.
Can you
Please.
assist? Can you assist?
Levi, you definitely assisted me, right?
Oh yeah,
Right,
you have you
yeah.
have advantage. You 100% have advantage on this.
All right, here
Oh
we go.
please, God! Please don't roll like shit. We don't deserve this.
Here we go. With advantage, I got a 10 for a 15.
And you dropped a 9, so it was a
Yeah.
9 or a 10.
Wow. Wow. Have you passed
That's like
10 yet?
No,
Not tonight.
no, I have not.
What you offer here does indeed signify the potential for freedom, but you lack one crucial component.
Hmm?
You lack the link to more than one city. If we tie ourselves to this, we tie ourselves to the fate of that one city. If it falls, we follow.
But it's only what you do for now. Again, this is a time buying mechanic. We're not saying that this is a forever solution.
There are other realms as well.
And we have your word that you will find these other access points. But how do you know that they exist?
We have notes and evidence that they have been accessed previously.
If you wish, we can show you some more.
Show me.
Very well. Let's bring him to the map.
Oh, yeah, the map is great.
And we
Your
bring
roll
him to the
was
map.
good enough to get him to continue, but not to persuade him yet.
That's fair. So we bring him to the map.
Okay.
Sort of-
Bring him to.
Sort of warning him as we go, by the way, and just being like,
Just so you know, there is a bit of a guardian here. I don't think it'll do anything, but we should be okay.
beat
Just
it up.
watch your step on the sand.
He looks perfectly comfortable in the sand. It does not seem to bother him at all.
all right. So we bring him across, and
Levi, do the thing.
Oh, you're going to love this. I say, completely not knowing his personality and whether or not he will love this. Yeah, I start the map up.
Okay. You start up the map as is. You're not slotting in the crystal or anything, right?
not yet,
No.
but we're just showing him that.
The map pops up. He looks suitably impressed at the mechanics of it, at the sand shaping into the map itself. He then begins to survey it.
This is as much... Yes. This is as much information as we have so far of the realm and the adjustments that have been made.
I see Craig Boshun,
Mm-hmm.
and I see Drichikal. I see a walled city to the east.
Yes. There are opportunities here. We are still trailblazing, but we have a map. You have options, Monkfar and Grey.
We have one option.
Two, technically. And also, as you're being involved in this so early, if something were to happen or we met difficulties and things like that, you would be informed.
We would be tying ourselves to this. To the hope
Indeed.
that you will be able to create the link to at least that other city. With the two, we might be able to stand. Might.
We could make that a priority for you.
And
Okay.
which of your worlds is that?
Which one is he pointing at?
The walled city to the west, east.
It's not my city, right?
No, yours is to the north.
I think
This is
it's
the one that's
mine.
between
Yeah.
those two mountains.
That's a
But I'm not
barrier,
there
right?
because I'm still
No,
like
it is not.
stalking the
You
guy.
do not recognize it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, that is unknown.
It is unknown, so you do not know where they lie.
Not
You
yet.
do not know if they even would entertain this possibility.
We could lie to you, but no.
But we have the means to discover it. And we will be the individuals to trailblaze and find out firsthand. Greg Boshun does not have to waste any time in that respect. Focus on what you do have, and we will see to extend your hand.
He considers.
Is this the persuasion
It's your
roll again?
moment of truth.
Oh God, it is.
God
please.
help us.
God,
advantage.
please, God, no.
Here we go. Hey!
Wow, I thought that was going to be a 3. I thought it was a 3.
Yeah,
All
drop
right,
the 9
drop
and
the
a
9 again.
17 for a
I'm not
22.
lying to you. I was ready to turn off the tower and be like, if you're not back to vote, then they win anyway. But I'm glad we didn't have to do that.
Well, actually, they already told you the vote already happened.
It's
They
true.
needed somebody to call for a revote.
Right.
What you offer here is tempting. It is. And I would not like to see my city fall. I will move that we postpone this for 1 week to give you the time to find the access to that city so we may be able to be assured of their cooperation. Is that
Most
amenable to
wise.
you?
Yes, indeed it is. Most wise, Monk Foundgrey.
Do they need to know it's you?
Who?
The other worlds. So my thinking is, and again, as a purely neutral party, even amongst my own world, it may be beneficial to just appear as merchants. That way, they're not supplying anyone. They don't know the straits you're in. It's just a resupply.
If this is to work, simply being merchants will probably not work. We will need an alliance of these 3 cities. We will need to stand united to be able to protect each other from whatever might come through the Nexus.
Well, I believe we have a party to return to then.
We'd best hurry.
Indeed.
There's not much time left.
Levi, turn off the thing.
I turn it off and run across the sand, just real fast.
Okay.
You lanky, like white dude with like the plant like jostling on his back.
Probably trip a few times. It like
Yeah, like the
catches-
scrawny guy
catches
who's
me.
never ran a mile in his life.
Yep.
Hey, my constitution is crazy good.
So you are currently at about 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So-
so
Oh God, you're timing us? Oh my God.
Of course I was.
yeah, I knew you were timing us. I literally am running.
You begin running. You make your way back to the portal. You key in the portal. You step through the portal. You run outside.
I turn
Yes.
off the portal.
Yeah, you turn off the portal.
You turn off the portal. At which point the little signs appear on your hand again.
Perfect. All right, let's move.
Okay. You make your way. You run back to the party. You find yourself at the front door.
Probably sees this.
I follow them as soon as I assume they're following the same path that they took to get to this thing.
Yeah.
So as soon as I see them again, I will follow stealthily after them.
And you eventually make it back to the party, where the doors are shut.
George, no!
Mark Foundgrey, do you have a key?
Do I have a key to another prince's domicile?
Well, I mean, there's rooms for you guys. I assumed maybe you could just get us in. We need to get in.
We do. And he walks up to the front door.
Oh God.
This is gonna be great.
Yes, he
I'm
walks up to
concerned.
the front door.
I'm very concerned.
And with a mighty kick, he kicks the door open.
Oh fuck yeah.
We're doing this loud, it seems.
Loud it is. Lead the way.
All right. And you make your way inside. We need to find the alchemist and Alomarael.
Did they make mention of where it was going to take place?
The signing will probably take place in the alchemist's private office.
Do you know where that is?
I do. Let us hope he has not barred the way.
Very well. Lead on.
Don't do us like that.
He begins leading you through the halls until eventually you see in front of you 4 of those large servants standing at attention, blocking the path forward.
Do they look identical, or are they like different shades of the kind of humanoid creature they are?
They look identical.
Gross.
Can I throw like a knowledge check at that? Because that's weird.
Yes, that would be knowledge nature.
At this point, also, I assume Aberion would have followed through the destroyed gates, or doors rather, and made his way down the hallway, following his companions. He will still be in stealth, though, hanging a bit back.
So I rolled an 11 for a 15.
And I did an 18 for a 24 because I'm a curious guy.
No, that's probably not natural. Yeah, there's something weird going on there.
Maybe cloning bats? Pods? Who knows?
Out of the way, gentlemen. The monk needs to speak with the alchemist in Alomarael.
The guards do not answer.
I hope you're ready to stretch your suit out a little bit more, Baron Grey.
At this time, for real, rolls his neck, cracks his knuckles, and rolls initiative.
Oh, that's hot. Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to enjoy our show. New episodes release every first and third Monday of the month, but stick around for the next part of this week's adventure. Meanwhile, if you're ready for a live experience, follow our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/RPGBlender to join in the adventure on November 9th. And if you missed our live character and world creation, catch up on YouTube at The RPG Blender. If you want to stay up to date on our releases, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at RPG Blender, or subscribe on your podcast app of choice. We also have a tip jar if you'd like to contribute to improving this show. Link in the description. Music is The Punk Rock Show by My Free Mickey. Copyright 2012, licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution license. Thank you again, and remember, there's gaming outside the Forgotten Realms.